Some data from the cigarette consumption data set are listed in Table 1.3. The first block of 48 observations lists the data for each state in 1985, organized alphabetically from Alabama to Wyoming. The next block of 48 observations lists the data for 1986 and so forth through 1995. For example, in 1985, cigarette sales in Arkansas were 128.5 packs per capita. The total number of packs of cigarettes sold in Arkansas in 1985 divided by the total population of Arkansas in 1985 equals 128.5. The average price of a pack of cigarettes in Arkansas in 1985, including tax, was $1.015, of which 37 cents went to federal, state, and local taxes. Panel data can be used to learn about economic relationships from the experiences of the many different entities in the data set and from the evolution over time of the variables for each entity. The definitions of cross-sectional data, time series data, and panel data are summarized in Key Concept 1.1. Cross-sectional time series and panel data, Key Concept 1.1. 3 bullet points. The first bullet point is cross-sectional data consists of multiple entities observed at a single time period. Second bullet point, time series data consists of a single entity observed at multiple time periods. Third bullet point, panel data, also known as longitudinal data, consists of multiple entities where each entity is observed at 2 or more time periods. Summary. Number 1, many decisions in business and economics require quantitative estimates of how a change in one variable affects another variable. 2, conceptually, the way to estimate a causal effect is in an ideal randomized controlled experiment, but performing experiments in economic applications can be unethical, impractical, or too expensive. Number 3, Econometrics provides tools for estimating causal effects using either observational, non-experimental data or data from real-world, imperfect experiments. Number 4, Econometrics also provides tools for predicting the value of a variable of interest using information in other related variables. Number 5, cross-sectional data are gathered by observing multiple entities at a single point in time. Time series data are gathered by observing a single entity at multiple points in time. And panel data are gathered by observing multiple entities, each of which is observed at multiple points in time. Key terms: randomized controlled experiment, control group, treatment group, causal effect, prediction, forecast, experimental data, observational data, cross-sectional data, observation number, time series data, panel data, longitudinal data. Review the concepts. 1.1, describe a hypothetical ideal randomized controlled experiment to study the effect of 6 hours of reading on the improvement of the vocabulary of high school students. Suggest some impediments to implementing this experiment in practice. 1.2, describe a hypothetical ideal randomized controlled experiment to study the effect of the consumption of alcohol on long-term memory loss. Suggest some impediments to implementing this experiment in practice. 1.3, you are asked to study the causal effect of hours spent on employee training measured by hours per worker per week in a manufacturing plant on the productivity of its workers' output per worker per hour. Describe an ideal randomized controlled experiment to collect causal effect, observational, and some other stuff.